So I respectfully disagree with you, my friend, and I'll tell you why. And this is actually a fun conversation and a good topic, but I think it would be a good idea to take Millie's advice, and we should do it in live. That way we have a better form of communication with each other rather than just stitching back and forth. However, in our discussions, I said that the MCU, despite not having Spider-Man or the X-Men in the early goings, Marvel still had Spider-Man and X-Men as films that they were making simultaneously with the MCU. My point is that if the MCU had failed, which thank God it didn't, like, kudos to them for making it succeed with the C-list heroes and characters that they used, and it elevated those characters. But if the MCU had failed, they still had the Spider-Man and X-Men films to fall back on as a cushion. That's what I'm saying. However, you said the success of those films had passed. The last Spidey and X-Men films made the lowest. But did they? Let's take a comparison. Let's look at my favorite Spider-Man film, Spider-Man 2, which made a respectful $795.8 million at the box office. And let's look at The Amazing Spider-Man, which made not too much less at $758.4 million. Or The Amazing Spider-Man 2, which made $709 million. They're all within the same ballpark of each other. Let's take, for example, Logan, which made $619.2 million for, I think, a rated R film, which is really good. Let's look at X-Men First Class, which made $353 million. X-Men Days of the Future Past, which made $746 million. X-Men Apocalypse, which made $543 million, and X-Men Dark Phoenix, which is the weakest, that made $252 million. Respectfully, my friend, I don't think the success of the Spider-Man and X-Men films really had passed. They were still putting out good numbers that was helping out Marvel. Sure, was it Endgame? No, but if we look at the start of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, with Iron Man, which is one of my favorite Marvel movies, it made $585.8 million. On average, the X-Men and Spider-Man films that came out during the MCU made better than the start of the MCU. Now again, eventually those numbers would start cranking up, especially as we get to Avengers. But those X-Men and those Spider-Man films were 100% a great cushion to have. But even if we go later down the line, right, let's avoid the Avenger movies because we all know those made bank. But let's say Captain America and the Winter Soldier, arguably considered the best Captain America film and arguably the best MCU standalone film. That made $714.4 million, roughly around what the X-Men and Spider-Man films were making. Hell, we can take Deadpool, who is 100% an X-Men product, who made $782.8 million. Venom, right? A Spider-Man based product, made $856 million. That's more than the Captain America in the Winter Soldier. And let's not forget about the Spider-Verse movies. The first one did a respectful $384 million. And the second one did a whopping $690 million. So you can say DC uses Batman and Superman. Never denied that. They are their biggest products. They bring in the money. But let's not pretend that Marvel did not have X-Men and Spider-Man supporting them from the beginning up till now with the MCU on the sideline. My point is that if the MCU had failed, right, if it didn't work out, and thankfully it did, but if it didn't work out, we saw with the X-Men films and the Spider-Man films, Marvel would have been all right, because they're cash cows. They were there to support them.